Thank you for attending SWR Institute's webinar on mental health. This year, SWR Institute is lucky enough to have Steve Stewart from Pullman Services as the lead speaker for our Safe and Sound campaign. We encourage everyone to distribute the recorded webinar to your teams to reinforce frontline safety culture aligning with OSHA's Safe and Sound nationwide campaign. I also want to remind everyone of 24 Fall Tech meeting in New Orleans, which will be held October 13th through the 15th at the Roosevelt New Orleans Hotel. You can register and find a full program lineup at www.swrionline.org/falltech. I'm now going to hand over the Zoom microphone to SWR Institute Safety Committee Chair, Carlos Noya. Take it away, Carlos.
Thank you, Nicole. I'm Carlos Noya on behalf of SWRI. Thank you very much for participating in this event with us. As OSHA ambassadors, the SWRI membership is happy to support the 2024 Safe and Sound Week. For anybody unfamiliar with Safe and Sound Week, it is a nationwide event held each August to recognize and show appreciation to the people making safety a reality on our job sites. Additionally, OSHA offers safety resources to help small and large employers improve their safety programs. This year, one of OSHA's key focus areas is pre-planning using a JSA and/or a JHA. In this webinar, we will look at how critical it is for everyone on site to look out for each other. More Safe and Sound resources can be found at www.osha.gov/safeandsoundweek with "and" spelled out. Regardless of what area of safety you choose to focus on in your organization, we hope you will keep in mind that this week is a bit of a celebration of how many things have been done by so many people the right way to make sure safety is a reality on our job sites. It's important to make sure that we say thank you to the people above and especially below us on the food chain. Their efforts towards keeping everybody safe is what keeps us in business and what lets us sleep at night. The SWRI safety resources that have been created over the past several years for decades by volunteers to the Safety Committee are available online at SWRI's website, www.swrionline.org, under the tab labeled Safety Resources. That includes 37 downloadable toolbox talks in English and Spanish, a downloadable safety and health field manual, also in English and Spanish, and there's a version of that available to membership that can be customized with your logo and other content. There's also past stand-down resources, including webinars and other information, as well as other kinds of videos and resources, including things like fall protection and silica. And now I'll hand it back to Nicole.
All right, thank you so much, Carlos. Before we get started on today's webinar, I want to introduce our speaker, Steve Stewart. Steve Stewart is Senior Corporate Safety Director for Pullman Services. He is a trusted advocate for the development and implementation of safety culture within the construction industry. Early in his career as a new first responder, Steve quickly realized that the safety profession was an area where he could leverage his passion for helping people to ensure they went home safe each day. Through several decades of services within the petrochemical and the construction industries, Steve has combined his firsthand experiences and many lessons learned to develop and implement the company's safety 24/7 safety culture. All right, I'll hand it over to you, Steve.
Thank you, Nicole. Welcome to the SWRI Safe and Sound 2024 webinar, Looking Out for One Another. September is National Suicide Awareness Month, which aims to raise awareness about suicide prevention and promote resources to help those who may be struggling. Construction has the highest rate of suicide among all occupational groups. This rising suicide rate over the past decade has brought greater attention to the need for effective prevention strategies to help those that are in need. Statistics related to suicide in construction are alarming, with male construction workers more likely to die by suicide than the remaining general population. Suicide rates are also higher amongst construction workers who are older, less educated, and have lower incomes. According to a study conducted by the Centers of Disease Control, the CDC, construction workers are 4 times more likely to commit suicide than be involved in a workplace incident. The highest suicide rates among males between the ages of 24 and 64. And some of the additional factors that contribute to this risk include the physical nature of the work, the stigma of toughness, and the lack of access to medical and mental health services. Additional factors that contribute to the high rate of suicides in the construction industry include job-related stress. A lot of times it's financially driven due to instability of work, the seasonal work and layoffs that impact how much work they can actually do, and the work-life imbalance with long hours, irregular hours, shift work, and night work. The culture of toughness that I mentioned in the earlier slide and self-reliance within the industry also makes it difficult for workers to have an open dialogue with their counterparts and their families. However, now that the industry has recognized this crisis, we can implement best practices and prevention strategies to help improve the impacts to our fellow workers. These practices can help create a safe and more supportive work environment where the employees can thrive and do well into their retirement ages. Early intervention is an important step that each of us have the ability to influence. A few things to recognize. One is the warning signs is the first step to prevent suicide. It is important to know that warning signs such as talking about suicide, giving away possessions, and withdrawing from friends and family are the biggest indicators that someone is struggling. Understanding significant risk factors that increase the likelihood of suicide, such as mental health conditions, substance abuse, and a history of trauma. It is important to recognize that these factors and take actions to address them if possible. And then also intervening early can also prevent a crisis. It is important to know how to talk to somebody and understand if they're at risk, offer your support, and connect with them or have them connected to resources such as a crisis helpline or a mental health professional, as we'll discuss in the upcoming slides. Additionally, creating a supportive work environment is essential for promoting wellness within the workplace. A supportive work environment can lead to the increased job satisfaction, productivity, and employee retention that every company wants. A culture and support of the workplace involving encouraging open communications, providing resources for mental health, and promoting work-life balance also plays a major factor in the overall support of mental health. This will also help reduce stress and promote a positive work environment for everyone. Additionally, reducing stigma around mental health issues in the workplace, involving educating employees about mental health, and fostering a culture of acceptance and support will also provide access to a safe work environment that will help reduce these crises among us. Some of the things you can look for and in support of a mental health crisis is using a crisis hotline. Crisis hotlines are confidential services that offer support to those in need. They provide valuable resource for people experiencing emotional distress, suicidal thought, or any other crisis that they may be facing. Crisis hotlines are staffed by trained professionals who are there to listen, offer support, and help connect people to the resources they need. And they're also free. 988 is the new 3-digit phone number that will make it easy for people in crisis to access help that they need. The service is free, confidential, and available 24/7. When people call or text 988, they will be connected to the National Suicide Prevention Lifeline Network, which provides crisis counseling and support to all those that reach out. The 988 hotline became available nationwide in July of 2022 in response to the crisis that the United States has been facing. When someone calls or texts 988, they will be connected to the nearest crisis center, which will provide immediate support, connect them to local resources where available. The hotline is staffed by trained professionals who are experienced in helping people in a crisis. What is the importance of 988? Suicide rates have been rising in the United States, and access to crisis centers are crucial for those who may be struggling. The implementation of the 988 system will make it easier for people to access the help they need and receive timely support. It is important to know that this service is available to them and how they can make access to it. And then, of course, if there was a delay in response from the 988 system, calling 911 for someone in true crisis is always a secondary option. In addition to implementing policies and training programs, it is important to create a culture of support and care in the workplace, encouraging employees to look out for one another to seek help when needed. And by promoting health awareness and reducing the stigma, we can create a workplace culture where mental health is prioritized and everyone feels valued and supported. If you or someone you know has experienced a crisis, please reach out for help. Thank you for supporting the SWRI Safe and Sound 2024 week.
A big thank you to Steve for providing his expertise and guidance on how to enhance and improve each other's safety. Thank you again to all who tuned in for today's Safe and Sound webinar on mental health. If you have any questions for Steve, you can find his contact information here and reach out to him directly. Hope you all have a wonderful day. Thank you.